Hey, what's up, YouTube? So, um, it is January. Check. It's January 29th today, and it is 7:25 p.m. in the Nashville area, which I think that's Eastern time, because we're like middle. Uh, we're like kind of in the mid east, so I think it's Eastern time. And back in California, I think they're 2 hours behind, so they would be 5:26, almost 5:30. And around this time is usually where I call like one of my friends back in California. He lives in LA. He's a barber, and he's a really chill dude. So usually this is about the time, or maybe a little bit later, where I'd just check in with him and be like, "Hey, do you want to like hop on a hop on a call with me and we can just like shoot the shit and stuff." But so yeah, I was coming up with these ideas for YouTube content, and I was thinking like there's the main type of content I want to make is like cannabis use or marijuana use cannabis content. And I yeah, so I want to make that content. I also want to make like working out content. And um, for the moment, you guys can probably see like a lot of fat. And so I want to. I have I've actually done a lot of exercise in the past like year and a half. I've done a lot of exercise. It just none of the exercises that I do have been like consistent over like that year and a half. So I started out with exercise at school, which I did for I think 2 semesters, and we used weights. Um, we did just normal like we did like full body workouts, right? Working out legs, core, arms, shoulders, chest. Like we worked out all these things, but I'm at a school for people with disabilities, so the people there like either they have like bad backs or they're not that strong or they're overweight, or they're really skinny and they can't do a lot of exercise. So it was pretty limited in like what they would tell us to do, what they would allow us to do. But I did break a sweat a couple times over those 2 semesters, which is like in total that's like 6 months. So I worked out pretty consistently for like 6 months at school. And then after that, I tried taking matters into my own hands and was like, okay, I'm gonna like create my own like workout routine that I can do from home when I'm home on the weekends from school. And so I I started running a little bit, and I forgot to mention that like every summer here in Nashville, or every summer that we've lived here, there's a pool in our HOA that opens at the start of summer, and then it goes through like mid fall. And so it's really cool because like tons of people show up from all over the neighborhood, and I've gotten to see the same people from my neighborhood show up for the past like 3 years. And it's actually pretty cool. It's like I don't really get to know people that well because I just kind of stick to myself, but I do get to see the same people, and I'm like, oh, I recognize that person, I know that person. So summer is like a really cool time. It's actually such a sick time to um, be alive, because everybody just goes to the pool, and like some days it's not that busy because it can be like colder in the mornings and the pool's not heated, but like pretty consistently throughout the summer, like it's like crowded at the pool. And so, and there's lots of groups of people who socialize, and And then like late at night, if you go late at night, like I think the pool closes at 11. But if you go late at night, like anytime after sunset, there's always like older adults like using vapes, like THC vapes or THCA vapes. Like they're getting high and then they're drinking alcohol. So they're doing like a little like sesh at the pool. So that's kind of cool. And I like just going and like getting in the pool and like listening to them like talk about like dumb shit or like random shit. So that's kind of cool. So I've got to enjoy that, and I really like that part of my experience here in Tennessee. Um, so I'm really looking forward to summer this year for that reason. Um, right now though, it is the all pretty much all the snow has melted in the Nashville area. Um, or it's going to be melted in the next like maybe week to a week and a half. It's all going to be gone off the roofs and off the street and off the the grass and the trees because like the sun is coming out like every day. So and there's a lot less clouds than it's not as overcast as it was like maybe 4 days ago. So all that snow is going to be gone. I think it's still going to be pretty cold until like maybe March or April. But at least we'll get some sun, and at least we won't have to deal with the ice and snow that we got over the weekend. So yeah, there's that. I got this new vape, which is a Lost Mary vape. And I went into the vape shop and I was like, hey, can I get a vape under, like, I only have $20, so is there something under $20 I could get? And he's like, oh yeah, we got these Lost Mary vapes. And I was looking at them and I was like, oh, and I was asking him about the flavors. And then he's like, oh no, not those ones, the ones below them. And then they're like these ones. And this looks like it reminds me of Iron Man. It reminds me of Iron Man because it has this little screen on it, and it has like all these settings. Or basically, you can choose one of like two flavors. You can choose peppermint or you can choose Miami mint, and they almost taste the same, but one of them tastes like the peppermint tastes just like peppermint toothpaste, and the other one has less of the toothpaste flavor, but it's still like so similar that I don't even know why they put two flavors in there. Like if you just gave me one, like it would have been the same experience. So I don't know, but these are cheaper vapes. This thing was like, well, it was almost $20. It was about $19. And the Geek bars, which are like the really high end vapes, like the really nice vapes, are like basically $30 or like 32 or $33. So anyways, I didn't have a lot of money. And I don't have any savings or anything, so I can't just spend what I want. So I got lucky because my mom gave me some money the other day, and I was just like, the Geek bar I have is like completely out of juice, and so I've been hitting it recently, but it always fucks up my throat. So I was like, oh, I just got to get like a new vape. But yeah. So, anyways, it's like hitting fucking menthol toothpaste or something. But what was I gonna say? Yeah, so I was just sitting here on the couch watching Sadamoto Days on Netflix, which is like this. Well, it didn't come. It came out like I think last year, like early last year, and people were obsessing about it for a while. But I'm not. I just watched the first two episodes. I was like, oh, this is such like a basic plot. Like, it's a guy who's a badass, which is like, yeah, every anime, most animes, action animes have like a badass character who just is always doing the most, but is like super relaxed and calm. And then like there's this guy who's supposed to kill him, but then ends up like befriending him. And then both of them are like, yeah, let's put our assassin days behind us and work this convenience store shop. And like it's just super basic, and I'm like, it has all the things that normal animes have, which is like the reactions from the character, the internal monologue, the jokes, the little aura cartoons over the person's like head and stuff, and like making their eyes like pop when they have like some sort of emotion. Like it has all that, which I appreciate, but it's just such a super basic plot, and the bad guys are basically just like, it's like level one, like they're no challenge. Level two is like they're no challenge, but they just take longer to kill. And then level three is like main protagonists who have like a backstory and a purpose to the show, and have like they have like a personality that you can get attached to, but ultimately they're bad, so you don't really root for them. But it's just so basic that I'm like, how do people like obsess over this? But yeah, so when I went out today to get the vape, I also stopped by a Kroger's, and I got these Milano mint chocolate cookies that are super good, and then I also got these Ollipops, which are like my new favorite soda. They're like my new favorite drink. They're my new favorite drink because they're really low on sugar, and they taste really good, and they almost taste like a probiotic drink. But they have like soda flavors. They have root beer, cherry pop. Um, they also have ginger ale, like vanilla cream, strawberry cream. Um, and so yeah, they're pretty good. Um, I went to this art store the other day, and I purchased this when it was just a blank canvas, and then I painted on it. And then like you paint it like at the art shop, and then they put it in a heater. They put it in like a I don't know what it's called. I don't know what the name of the machine is called, but it essentially heats up all the paint, and it gets like this. You can see the shine from the lamp up there. It gets this like glossy finish, and then it's all smooth. It's like super smooth. It feels like I just bought it this way, you know? Like it was all like hard. The outside of it was hard, and now it's all like glassy smooth. Whoops. So looks like that. And I also drew on the inside of it. I don't know if you can see it, but I drew on the inside of it a little bit. I just put like random like marks on it. So those are those little products that I have. I have the vape and this and my food. But I was just sitting here watching Sadamoto Days, and I was like, oh, I should really finish my homework. And so I have this homework for school that I already did, like I already completed, but I'm just trying to like study it so that when I go back to school, I'm like, I at least have some of the information memorized, um, so that my grade can stay like at an 80 or higher. And it's really hard to memorize like drug names, like pharmaceutical drug names, because they don't even sound like real words. They don't sound like words that you would ever use in a conversation unless you were talking about pharmaceuticals. Like you'd never like just bring it up for some. I mean, there are like certain drugs that people know of, like Xanax and codeine, promethazine, Percocets, like morphine. People know about those things only because like they've been sick or in pain and they were like prescribed them. But like the other 200 drugs that are made in a very similar way to all those popular drugs, popular pharmaceutical drugs, like you would never even know their name because like people just take them for illnesses, and like people don't brag that they have them or like whatever. Um, yeah, I took a Xanax once because my mom had some left over from like a surgery she had, and she had these Xanax to help her sleep. And I took one, and it literally did absolutely nothing. It was like 2 months old. It was like 2 or 3 months old, but it did absolutely nothing. I mean, it probably did affect my body in some way, but I couldn't feel it or like tell the difference between how I was feeling before I took it and how I was feeling after I took it. So I'm just like, well, I don't know why people get hung up on Xanax. Like, it's so fun to do. But yeah, so I was just sitting here watching Netflix and I was like, okay, I need to do homework, but I don't want to just sit here and record myself um, making a video for school and then like hear myself talk. I was just like, I'm not really in that mood. It's not like a question of like motivation. It's just like, I'm not really in the mood. Like, I'd rather just sit in silence and vape or watch a little bit of YouTube. And so I know like studying should be a priority, but like you can't really force yourself to study something that you're not actually going to remember. Um, but yeah, I've been making these videos for school, which is like I record myself like talking through the PowerPoints for each chapter assignment, like the PowerPoint that gives you all the info for it. And then I replay it and listen back to it while I'm going through the PowerPoint. And it's almost like reading along. It's almost like a read along like thing. Or it's like yeah, it's almost like as if you had like a read along like um, application on your computer, but instead it's in your own voice instead of just like a AI voice. So that I'm hoping that'll help me like study and remember the information better. But I thought like, okay, why don't I make a YouTube video because I need more scripts to practice. And I guess I already have like another one now that I haven't printed out yet. But yeah, I was just going to make another video because I need some scripts to practice to help me maintain clarity throughout the day and to kill time and to exercise my brain a little bit. But yeah, so the main types of content I want to make is like cannabis consumption content. I think workout content. Once I know it's totally possible to lose weight because the exercise that I did in the past 6 months has dropped me 8 pounds from where I was. I was at 230. Well, I was at 220 and then I dropped 6 pounds to 214. And then I shot all the way up to 230. And then I dropped 2 pounds just from doing like one workout. I dropped 2 pounds just from doing like a 1 hour workout. And so that's 8 pounds total, although they were not at the same weight. Like I didn't start at the same weight when I was losing it. And I know a lot of time has passed between running and working out. But I just look at that as evidence like, oh, it's totally possible to like lose weight. Like it's not even that big of a deal. Like if you just hit weights and are consistent with it, like it's pretty easy to lose weight. But yeah, I've been also on YouTube a lot, like watching different YouTubers, and I've been watching like anything like cannabis related or anything weed related. I've been watching it. Um, and I've been hearing about it from like all the perspectives, which is like one perspective is like I'm a weed YouTuber. That's what I do. I love it. And I make videos about different things related to cannabis. And then there's YouTubers who are like, oh, quitting weed after like 8 years of like everyday use and like why I hate it now. And then there's doctors saying like why it's bad for you and how it causes schizophrenia. And then there's like cannabis doctors who are like, oh, this is like a great medicinal plant for like fibromyalgia and like all this like random shit. All this like random shit. Dude, this almost has like a buttery like aftertaste. Like after I inhale it, I think it's the flavor that they put in it. It's artificial, They put some artificial flavoring in it, and like it leaves almost like a residue or like a buttery residue like on the inside of your gum and on your tongue. It leaves like this kind of like almost like it's almost like if you took melted butter and just rubbed a little bit on the inside of your gum and put it on your mouth or put it on your tongue. It's kind of what it like. That's the consistency texture of it. Kind of weird, but I bet this is a hella old vape. I bet this was sitting in the shop for like fucking hella long. My voice just cracked. I was hanging out with my sister on Monday night and we were watching Rick and Morty and my voice kept cracking and she thought it was the funniest thing ever. And I just had her like rolling. I had her rolling. She thought it was like the fucking funniest thing ever. So, um, yeah, recently I have to keep my voice down, but like basically recently, like I came up with this plan on how to use cannabis, like safely, without risking any like major side effects or like creating like anxiety or whatever, like or sleep problems. Like I came up with this plan and um like the biggest step you have to make if like I don't know, cannabis is like a cool thing. And so if you want to use it responsibly, then you have to switch over to CBD because CBD as we know doesn't really get you high, but actually if you smoke enough of it, you can get high, but it's just like a different high. You know what I mean? Because it's still like an essential component of pretty much all marijuana plants. There's like some amount of CBD in it. And I know certain people only want to smoke stuff with like high amounts of THC in it, but that's the chemical that causes like literally all the problems. It also gets you like hella high, but it also causes like a bunch of problems. And so the main switch you have to make is like CBD from like THC to CBD. And then you have to learn how to like you have to learn like you have to learn the ways of the CBD because literally like I bought some CBD, a strain called Critical Berries, and I bought it like in December. Like I think it was the second week of December I bought it. And the first day when I first got it, um, for one thing, I got a deal on it. Like you can buy individual pre rolls, and I was like, oh, can I get 4 pre rolls? That was like $20, and he's like, bro, I'll give you 7 for $20, because they were like running out, and like they only had 7 left. So it was right before Christmas. It was like the week before Christmas, and he's like, here, I'll just give you these 7. Um, go ahead, take it home. I was like, oh, for like $20? He's like, yeah, same price. And I was like, damn, that's sick. That's like hella. It's actually a lot of extra weed for like that much. So basically, let's see, he gave me $35 worth of weed for $20, which is pretty good. I think what I got, like the amount that I got, like with all the pre rolls, is probably like between an eighth, somewhere between 1/8 and 3/8, like somewhere between there. Maybe not quite 2, but like a lot higher than an eighth, because I know what an eighth looks like. So it's a lot higher than an eighth, but it's not quite 3/8. So it was a pretty good deal for $20, and $20 is usually 1/8 a dub. So basically, it's CBD. It's CBD weed. It's high CBD and low THC, which is the what's considered legal here in Tennessee. And so, oh man, we're going on 24 minutes, but I'm just gonna make a long video anyways. But so basically, my plan was like the first step. Like I came up with all the steps prior to actually starting smoking it, but but I did smoke it in December right after I bought it, and I smoked like half of a pre roll, and damn, I got hella high off of CBD, and I literally never thought, because people are always bashing CBD as like this cannabinoid that doesn't do shit. You know, people are saying like it's therapeutic, like it relaxes you but doesn't get you high, and it's like, dude, that's not even true. It's just like it it's just individual. It's just individual preference. Like the thing is, if your body is taking in more THC than CBD, then smoking a little bit of CBD is not going to get you high. But if you have no weed in your system and then you smoke half a pre-roll of CBD, you're going to get high. You're actually going to get high. And um so that's the funny thing, is like, because so much people have, if you have more THC in your system than you do CBD, then CBD feels like it's doing absolutely nothing. But if you have no marijuana in your system and you've been sober for a while, then CBD is a really good switch, because it's pretty much legal, and like if someone caught you smoking CBD, people are going to be your people are not going to frown on you, because it's looked at as the medical part of cannabis. So that's what all medical marijuana is, pretty much. It's like CBD, CBG, CBN, all that. But so I actually got high off of it. And literally the first thought I had as I was coming up on this high is like, well, the thing is, like, I was smoking and I got to half the pre-roll, and then I like all of a sudden, like, I started feeling super high, and I was like, wait a minute, like, I thought this was CBD, like it's not supposed to get you high. And just a disclaimer, like, I smoked way too much. Like, even half a pre-roll is like too much for me, because I have like no tolerance right now. So I smoked too much on that day, and I was really high for about 4 hours, like 4 or 5 hours. And I had like a weed hangover the next day. But the good thing is that, like, I always had this theory that CBD might work out for me, and that I might be able to save my relationship with marijuana by investing more in CBD than I do in THC. Like, I always had this like thought that, like, because THC gave me like weed psychosis, and so I always thought like, and then I quit weed for a long time. I quit weed for like a year and a half. Like, I was smoking when I came to Tennessee, but then um I figured out how to not have to use it. And then I didn't use it for a long time, and I felt way better sober than I did smoking THC, because THC always made me uncomfortable and anxious. But I always had this theory that, like, wait a minute, there's not just THC, there's CBD, and like you can get CBD flower and like put it in a pre roll and smoke it. So it's like, I was always thinking like, man, what if CBD ends up being like my thing? Like, what if I find a way to use CBD that like gets me high but doesn't get me high in the same way that THC does? And it actually fucking worked. Now the problem was I smoked too much, so my heart was pounding super hard, and I have some health problems right now. And so I think my immune system started attacking like my lungs, because I have an infection in my lungs. So I think it started attacking my lungs a little bit, because like I had no trouble breathing, but like I really hate that feeling when you get high and you have to like manually breathe. It's like a manual car. Like, you have to like manually breathe, and you can't stop thinking about like, oh, what happens if I don't like take my next breath on time, you know? you're like, oh, what if I don't time it perfectly? Am I gonna like choke? So like that's the one thing I hated about it. And it felt like my immune system was kind of like attacking me a little bit, but the body high was like, it was definitely different than THC, but it was almost identical to what I remember from the very last time that I got high, like normally before it started affecting me like super negatively. Like the last normal high I had before everything went downhill, like that's what it felt like. So I was just thinking like, oh, maybe they're advertising it on their website as CBD, but maybe it's not CBD. But like I trust them, and I've gotten CBD from them like before, and it had like literally like no effect on me. So I'm thinking that this is actually CBD. So yeah, so anyways, like there was a little bit of anxiety in my head, but the biggest difference between THC and CBD is that there's no like there's no there's no expansion of your brain and your mind and your head. Like there's no expanding of your consciousness and your thoughts. Like your head is screwed on straight, and you can still think in the same way you do when you're not smoking, and your head still feels the same size. Like I know when I used to smoke like THC, like it would feel like my brain was like leaving me, but like not going somewhere else, but like it felt like it was kind of like around me. I felt like I was thinking in like a bigger like brain that was like surround, like almost like my aura. I felt like my thoughts were coming from like my aura, like around my body instead of like from inside my brain. But like CBD, like it doesn't do any of the mind expansion stuff. It just gives you a body high, and then it can still buzz your brain like in a good way. Like your brain can feel more relaxed as like just purely as a muscle. It's like it's the same thing as like relaxing your forearm. Like it can relax the muscle of your brain, but it doesn't give you any of that consciousness like expanding stuff that THC does. So I was like, dude, this is awesome. Like it actually worked. I know I smoked too much. And so I'm taking steps towards building up a tolerance to it. And hopefully at some point I'll get up to the point where I can smoke like a whole J in a day, or maybe probably less than that, but like smoke like enough in a day to the point where I feel that again. Because I'm just starting off at one hit a day for 30 days, and I'm hoping that that will build like a tolerance to it, because like I'll be literally directly putting it in my body. So my body is going to like build up a tolerance to it. And then as it circulates through my system, it'll slowly change like my brain and nervous system function in a way. And then like then when I take like more amounts of it, like my body will be like adjusted to it, like can utilize like higher amounts. I think besides the reaction videos, I think this is the longest video I've ever made. So anyways, and like I came up with like all these fun ways to like make it work for me besides just smoking, besides just putting it in your body. Like I found ways to like think about it and examine it and have fun with it. So I will reveal that knowledge later, maybe when I actually get past these 30 days. But so far, like just one hit a day is like, dude, it's literally like perfect for me right now, because like I don't really feel anything like from one hit, but I did on Tuesday, which was let's see, today is day 6. So day 5, day 4. It was day 4. So this was like I had taken one hit on Friday, then Saturday, then Sunday, then wait a minute. No, it was Saturday, then Sunday, then Monday, and then Tuesday. So Tuesday was hit number 4. And on that day, like I actually felt something like going on in my brain, and I started like thinking like slightly differently than I usually do. And it was like I recognized it like immediately as like, oh, this is cannabis like affecting like the way I think. And like that made me so happy. I was like, dude, this is literally perfect. Like all I got to do is like essentially microdose. Like essentially all I've got to do is like microdose it for a couple months and then slowly add more. And then I'll get to a point where I can, maybe take 6, 7, 8 hits and then be chilling off of that and like really enjoy like the full spectrum of CBD. And so, anyways, I'm really proud of myself because I knew all along, my voice cracked again. I knew all along that CBD might be my friend and that maybe THC is not my friend because it's not friendly towards people with mental illness. Let's just put it that way. THC and THCA and Delta 8 and, and high potency vapes and edibles are not friendly towards people with mental illness or people who like struggle mentally. Like it's not friendly towards us. But CBD is like the opposite. It's like CBD is almost like your babysitter when you're a kid. Like they really care about you. They play with you, they feed you, they watch you while your parents are gone. They're like your older like buddy or whatever, and then they put you to sleep. Then your parents come home and then they get paid and leave. Like CBD is almost like your fucking older brother or your babysitter. That's how I kind of like feel about it or have felt about it the past couple days. So, anyways, yeah, I'm proud of myself. So, but eventually down the line, once I take all the steps, all the necessary steps, then I think I can film content like getting high and going out to like see a movie at the movie theater, or getting high and then going to the Nashville Zoo, or getting like taking a CBD edible and was what's something else I could do, like I don't know, like go eat food somewhere. I don't know. Like I was just thinking like I'm going to go out and actually do stuff in my city, in my area, but I'm going to do it high or do it with CBD in my system. And that's going to be like my content, I think. But like even more important than the CBD right now is just a job, which is why I talked about those assignments earlier. Really need to buckle down on the knowledge and the science of pharmaceutical drugs. Just memorize and like process as much of that information as I can. I don't got to be perfect or be like a computer where I know everything, but I just got to do the best I can and really nail down a job, because if I don't have a job, I can't pull money out of my ass. I guess technically I can. I have SSI money, but I can't just pull money out of my ass. So I need to like actually work. So, and I actually do want to work. I've been wanting a job really badly since about last year in August. I started applying to places because I was like, oh, I'm going to get a part-time job on the weekends while I'm at school. Then once I graduate, I'm going to go into my area of study, which is pharmaceuticals. So I looked around, I applied. Nobody got back to me, or a couple places did get back to me, but they're like, yeah, the hours you're looking for like are not really doable for us. And then places just didn't respond. But like it actually made me feel so good about myself just to go on Indeed and go online and like search for jobs like locally. Made me feel so good. And I know like there's not a single person on the planet, or like there's not a single person like in America who doesn't love a fucking like $800 paycheck. You know what I'm saying? $700-800 paycheck. There's, after 2 weeks, or a $500 paycheck, whatever. Like there's not a single person who doesn't love that. So, anyways, that's where I'll leave you guys off. I think I might film just a couple clips of me like watching TV smoking, playing with my dogs. I might go upstairs and like make a little snack for myself for meal, film that, and add those to the beginning and end of the clip. And then I might as well fuck around on iMovie and like try to make this into an edited video so it's actually fun. You know. So anyways, my dog just burped or farted or something. Made a weird noise. Anyways, peace guys. This thing needs to be down lower. There we go. Alright, so I'm just making a part 2 to this video. And I filmed a little bit like 2 days ago. I filmed like a 40-minute video like 2 days ago. So now I'm just making a part 2. And I'm up in my room this time as opposed to the basement. And no, Ruby, don't do that, Ruby. Like basically so what I was talking about last time was like content I want to make based on cannabis consumption. You know, I was proud of myself for trying CBD again and finding that it actually does give you kind of the feeling that I'm looking for. Like, but obviously there's a ton of work that needs to be put into curating the experience I want, but like it gave me a body high and it affected my brain or my mind in a way. That was kind of what I was looking for in cannabis. And I was like, oh, really? Now all I have to do is build up a tolerance. And then, you know, I want to get like a vaporizer, like a herb vaporizer, which you just put your bud in and then vaporize it. And it's supposed to be way better for like, it's supposed to really bring out the terpene profile of each strain. And it actually gives you like a better high, some people say, than just smoking it like a joint, like just lighting it up with fire, like a lighter. So, but I came up with a plan today for, how to keep myself busy for the next 8 days, because 9 days from now on Sunday I'll be going back to school, and essentially like I have to keep myself busy doing something. I think it's gonna be pretty cold for the next like couple weeks, but so I'm probably not gonna do a lot of stuff outside, but except for maybe like go shopping, but for some food. But right now, so far today, well, actually, just to catch you guys up from 2 days ago, is when 2 days ago when I filmed that video, it was like at 7 at night. And then pretty much all yesterday, I smoked a little bit of like a pre-roll that I had. Let's see. Smoked a little bit of a pre-roll. And then I pretty much watched YouTube like most of the day. I went out with my mom, and while she was doing something at T-Mobile, like I got some food. Some Asian, or it was like a Japanese like rice bowl with shrimp. And like a ginger boba tea, which was really good. And then, yeah. Okay, just a second. You guys have to go downstairs. Hey, what's up? You need to put on some warm clothes and go help Dad. Oh, right now? Yeah. Okay. There's gloves here. I've got this warm jacket if you want to put it on. And socks and shoes. Okay. And just bring the branches forward. Okay. Come on, Scrap. Well, it turns out that my dad needs my help fixing this tree, trimming this tree that where some of the branches are dying because of the snows. So I'm going to pause this video and then make another one afterwards. So I've just come from the backyard, and I'm really out of breath. Maybe I'll stand. Probably a little bit better. But I came from the yard, my backyard. This out here is my front yard, but over this way is my backyard. So I came from the backyard, and my dad was cutting off branches with a saw, not a chainsaw, not an electric saw, but with a hand saw where you just go back and forth. He was sawing off branches from this tree that I'm guessing is a pretty old tree because it looks like a mature, it's tall. It's probably lived a long time, and the weather here has just basically sucked all the life force out of it, and we are just trimming the branches as far up as we can trim because we only have a small ladder. So we've just been trimming as far up as we can go, and then we're taking all the branches to the front yard to be disposed of by a disposal service. And so I imagine that they shave it first, like they put it in a grinder and shave it, and then they dispose of it. I think that's how it works, but I'm not sure. But anyway, so we let our dogs outside, and while me and my dad were working in the yard, they were just kind of like exploring and playing and stuff like that. Now they're up here with me. Ruby's in the closet over there, and Scrappy is, I don't know where she's at. But I found a Dr. Pepper in the fridge. It's the last Dr. Pepper we have, and I was so grateful. I was like, yes. It's like a little tiny reward for just doing this work. So basically my plan today was to, let me shut this door. Basically my plan today was to make a video for YouTube, then work out. So I have like 2 workouts that I can do in the house. Actually 3. Spinning is the first one, and that's just to get your heart rate up, to get the oxygen and blood moving in your brain, and to work out your legs a little bit because you're rotating, you're spinning around. And yeah, it does get you dizzy, but the dizziness only lasts like 30 seconds to a minute. And then after that, like, you can feel your heart rate go up. You can feel your body is like starting to like, you get the gears turning to like get it in motion. The second thing is going up and down. There's 2 flights of stairs in my house. I think there's like 13 steps each, so it's about 26 steps total. And I do a workout where I carry a 20-pound weight behind my back when I go up the stairs, and then I hold it in front of me when I'm going down the stairs. Stop, Scrap. I'll hold it in front of me when I'm going down the stairs. And it's just to it's to help distribute my weight like evenly, because you're holding it in back of you, and so you have more weight in back of you than you do in front of you. But I guess my fat over my abs kind of cancel it out. But then I hold it in front of me, and then that's supposed to be like distributing like vertically, like it's distributing the weight vertically while you're going down the stairs, and then up the stairs is like it's distributing it from back to front. So I have that exercise, and then I can also use my 20-pound weight and my 3-pound weights to do like a light like workout that you can do like at the gym. It's like a gym style workout. And I just use my couch as like a bench press. And so I do like, there's 7 exercises. 5 of them you do with the 3-pound weights, and I got 2 of them. And so you're basically doing like empty repetitions, creating empty sets of this exercise because you're not really challenging yourself with just 3 pounds. At least not for me, it's a challenge. But it does, get my body moving with, which is the point. It's more of the first 5 exercises with the 3 pound weights are more to just get my body moving, and then the 20 pound weight goes up like this, and then it goes over my head like this. So I'm doing it like this, and I think it's called an overhead press, and that's to work out my triceps, and then also putting up like this like works out my chest. And that one, actually, I start like shaking and getting tired. Not really tired, but just like my muscles are like feeling like they don't have, like I'm using all my strength to do those. So I think that's a good thing. So I'm probably going to do that too. But so those are the 3 exercises I can do. And I forgot to mention that the weight, when you carry the weight up and down the stairs, like when I go up and down the stairs normally, it usually my knees hurt because of my weight, and then it gets me pretty winded, and then my heartbeat goes up, and it goes up like in an uncomfortable way. Like I don't like the way it makes my heart feel. But when I do it with a weight, it actually feels so good because it's like your knees and legs start getting really tired, but it's like a good sort of feeling. It's almost the same feeling you get like after you've been like swimming in a pool for a couple hours. Like that's how it makes you feel. So it's like exhausted, but like in a good way. And then also your heart rate goes really high on like when I start in the basement, and then when I get all the way to the 3rd floor, up 2 flights of stairs, my heart rate is like going way up, and like that feels so good because you can literally feel like you can feel your heart pumping, but you can also feel like the muscles all around your heart, which are like in your left pectoral muscle, the center muscles right here, in your arm and shoulder, you can feel them all like pulsing with like blood circulation, like almost like a bass in a car. You can feel them like vibrating, and it like feels really good. So that's why I do that exercise. Is like I didn't know it would do that, but I discovered that after doing it a couple times, and I was like, yes, like I just found a really good exercise. So that the thing is, like after the work that I just did in the yard, I'm feeling kind of tired, but like again, I'm feeling tired in a good way. But I'm just gonna wait a couple hours until I hit my actual workout. In the meantime, I'm making this video, and then I'm going to uh, do my dictionary, which I mentioned a couple of videos ago. I'm gonna do my dictionary, marking the dictionary, and then I'm gonna do some homework. Um, and then after that, I'll be chilling. I might reread. I might reread one of these mangas. I might go through them tonight. I feel like it's gonna be really fun. Like when I get to. This is also this is day 8 of taking 1 hit of CBD a day. So I have these pre-rolls, like I mentioned, and basically I'm just taking 1 hit a day for 30 days to build a tolerance to CBD. And so I'm on day 8 right now. And then after 30 days, I'm going to up it to 2 hits a day. But the 2 hits are going to be separated by like at least an hour, if not longer, so that I'm not just taking 1 hit and then another hit, and then it hits me like really fast. So I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to up it to 3, then 4, and then I'm going to end at 5, and I'm going to end with 5 hits a day for 30 days. And hopefully at that point, like it'll actually be making me feel like kind of good and high and stuff. Low power mode. And hopefully hopefully I can build a tolerance that way. And then I have some other kind of like activities that I'm going to do with CBD and some other stuff to kind of just have fun with the whole process. Specifically like training my nose and training my sense of taste to accurately tell like how much energy I have or how exhausted I am. I'll put that in a later video. But I was gonna get some supplies. I was gonna get some alcohol, some nicotine vapes, and I was gonna get some essential oil diffusers, which you can like smoke on. They're like these pens, just like weed pens, like vape pens, and but instead of weed, it's like essential oils mixed with some dissolvable something to like so it doesn't like make you sick. But I'm gonna do that, and so I'm gonna use those things, and I'm gonna try to train myself to kind of know exactly how much energy I have because like obviously if you wake up and you're super tired, you're like, oh, I feel tired, and then like maybe later in the day you're like, okay, I feel some energy. And then if something kind of triggered you during the day or you felt really good, you could be like, oh, today like I had like a lot of like feelings and emotions. But like if you were like focusing on work and getting a lot of work done, you'd be like, okay, I'm super logical today. And then there's the in between logic and emotion, which is kind of like being intuitive, which is like a combination of both. You know, you're using your mind and your emotions. So I'm just gonna use these three categories of substances: alcohol, nicotine, and essential oils, to train my nose and my mouth to essentially like determine like what level of energy I'm at and what level of tiredness I'm at, and then like how logical or emotional I am throughout the day. And hopefully that'll create a lot of accuracy, which will translate into highs from CBD being like a lot better because like I'll know like when to smoke and like what strain to smoke um based on like how much energy I have essentially. So anyways, that's pretty much the whole video. I went through my day or my plan for the day. I went through my yard work. I haven't had breakfast this morning and it's about noon right now, but I'm gonna go back and get that Dr. Pepper. Um, so it's pretty much like this vape and Dr. Pepper for breakfast. Um, so anyways, yeah, peace guys.